Temperatures in the upper 80s at Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. Military Appreciation Day, a chance to show our continued support of our armed forces. And tonight, a playoff rematch. Will temper simmer or will it heat up at the soccer complex? It's Phoenix Rising taking on Swope Park Rangers. Equivalent records on the season, but nobody forgets what happened last September. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Devin Kerr is alongside Mike Watts with you. Well, it's the reigning Western Conference champions, Swope Park Rangers, coming to town. How did they get to the final? By playing a 21-hour-long thriller with a 2-hour-long rain delay. Phoenix got on the board first in extra time through Didier Drogba, but it wouldn't last.
And a solid header by Drogba in the 99th minute. And like you said, Didic, as Swope Park Rangers looking to counterpunch in this heavyweight matchup that we saw in the Western Conference. The back-to-back champions had a response. Didic going to get a nice ball played across, and you're going to see it come through off the deflection. It's going to find the far post. Unfortunately for Phoenix Rising, it was knotted up, and they would go into penalty kicks, Mike.
And Didier Drogba was down. Don't think Patrice Cartheron forgot about that. He felt like a mistake was made by the officials. It would go to penalties, and Swope Park knocking off Phoenix 4-2 after the 1-1 result through extra time. Josh Cohen wasn't able to make the saves. Darren McLeod lucks out a bit. Luigi Mala knocking his over the crossbar. And in the end, Swope Park in front of their home crowd able to make their way into the second round of the playoffs. Carlton Belmar is back, and he leads the league in goals right now.
Leads the league in goals, and his striking partner up top, Barry, is not far behind him with 3 assists. He's almost tied for the USL lead. And look, player of the month for March, the guy gives you everything. Up top, on the ground, you name it, all around. And then his counterpart, Amadou Dia, he's going to see a lot of him here this night out on the wing. Amadou Dia making USL Team of the Week this week as well, although the USL decided to move him inside and play center back. Patrice Cartheron, myself, and you had a nice little laugh about that. But look, this guy is another one. He can stretch the field for you going forward, but Patrice telling us that his first and most important duty, defense, defense, defense.
And don't forget, in 2016, he played for Sporting Kansas City. One of many stories in this match of revenge on the brain. Phoenix looking to pick up their 4th win of the year. Swope Park can say the same. It's the reigning conference champions on the road to Phoenix, and it's coming up next.
If you just sign that first
I'm
one
so
there.
sorry. I don't feel comfortable signing that.
I don't get the math here.
Was this the same car we talked about?
What's this dealer preparation fee?
I'm so sorry. This just is not.
What we talked about.
Get the car without the car salesman. Carvana, the new way to buy a car.
Phoenix Rising FC and Didier Drogba are turning up the intensity this season with an international roster that's bigger, faster, and stronger than ever. Join the action at Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex in Scottsdale and experience professional soccer's greatest thrills and skills. Next up on the pitch, Phoenix Rising faces Fresno FC, Saturday, April 28th at 7 p.m. Get your tickets at phxrisingfc.com. Phoenix Rising FC, rising as one.
At Showcase Honda, we want to show you the best. Let us show you our massive inventory of new Hondas, like the 2018 Honda Accord, 2018 North American Car of the Year, Honda Civic, or Honda CR-V. Or let us show you a certified pre-owned Honda, one of the best values on the road. And let us show you an unmatched sales and service experience. Only at Showcase Honda. Easy to find on Camelback Road just west of the 51. Online at showcasehonda.com. Get to the show today.
Welcome back, everyone. You're watching Phoenix Rising Soccer. I know the guys were talking earlier about Amadou Dia's defensive performance. He's just a small part of a record-setting defensive start for Phoenix Rising. In the first 5 matches of the season, the club has given up just 3 goals. Now, that's been a part of a defensive renaissance for the team ever since head coach Patrice Carteron joined. In the 9 games before he came, the team gave up 3 or more goals 3 times. In the 28 games since, they've only done it twice. So not a surprise coming from someone that was a defensive right-back player of the year in Ligue 1 twice in his career. Should be looking forward to another defensive performance. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Jose Bosch. Devin Kurz alongside Mike Watson. We look at the starting lineup for Swope Park Rangers. And how about that front 3? Blackwood is a former Arizona player. Haji Berry and Carlton Belmar. It's a scary group.
There's some familiar faces for both these squads that are matching up here on the opposite side of pitch this evening. But I'll tell you what, how about the back line? Mara Smith, Didic, and Storm, all the same from last game. So that's 2 games in a row. We've seen the exact same back line. Adrian Sendeja stepping in between the pipes to get the duties done this evening. And look, the 3 guys up top are going to have their hands full with Phoenix Rising's back line. But then you flip the script. Phoenix Rising is going to have some trouble with the speed that these guys possess.
A look at that Phoenix Rising starting lineup. How about James Musa making his first start against, you guessed it, his former club. Chris Cortez leading the line. No Didier Drogba tonight.
And the biggest thing, though, I was just referencing is the speed. Amadou Dia, Devontae DuBose like to get up and down the pitch, utilize the wings and combination play with Asante and Forbes, but they're going to have to keep an eye on that because that front 3 of Swope Park Rangers likes to push the pace as well. So keep an eye on the holding midfielders, Lambert and Musa. They need to sit a little bit more, make sure that they have coverage on the counterattacks.
So Phoenix looking to pick up a win here. And how about Didier Drogba? He might not be playing tonight, but he is in the middle of that huddle. When we spoke with Patrice Carteron this week, he said we could be playing 14 games in the next, call it 50 days or so. So you need to be careful with everybody, including the superstar that a lot of people came to see.
That's the thing everybody needs to remember is they possess all this offensive firepower, but some of these guys aren't exactly spring chickens. And even if you are, playing all those games in that limited amount of time frame is extremely difficult on the human body. Attrition, mental fatigue, it all starts to come into play. And, you know, going a step further on that same conversation, Kevon Frater got involved there. And I said, you know, how's he doing? What's going on with him? You know, we knew he was a little bit sick. Has he worked his way back? And Patrice said, you know what? I've got all these guys. I've got all these games. I'm not going to rush anybody back. Let's take our time and make sure that we have the proper package for each and every player.
Now, the U.S. Open Cup affects different teams differently. And for these teams like Swope Park Rangers, they're directly affiliated with an MLS team. The best of these players will likely get a chance to play in the U.S. Open Cup with Sporting Kansas City. That said, no one on this roster is going to play 14 games in the next 50 days. So it's a little bit different here as Victor Rivas walking around that center circle with the ball. You've played in revenge games. You know what this means. Everyone's got it on the brain.
It's difficult because even in training, you're wondering, you know, how are these guys doing? How are those guys doing? I'm sure that they keep in touch with each other, assuming they had a proper relationship in the dressing room. But look, at the end of the day, you step onto the pitch and you've been pulled to your new squad for a reason. And the last thing you want to do is have a personal vendetta to go out and get something against another guy on the other side of the pitch. Not saying that I've never done it, just saying it's not necessarily the right move.
Musa and Dia for Phoenix Rising. That's going to come to mind for Swope Park Rangers. Their connections to Phoenix, primarily Ty Blackwood. Played for Arizona United, the previous iteration of the franchise here in the USL. 1-1. It was 0-0 after 90. Took 120. Draw level and go to penalties. And Phoenix season ended on a down note against Swope Park away. Well, they're back home here tonight, and in front of a nice crowd at Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex, they look for a playoff rematch against Swope Park Rangers as we're underway. Phoenix in the red tops, the blue and black of Swope Park. Restart as far as Dia. Well, could have been a turnover. DeFont stepped in, and now it's Berry. Barry rushing upfield, looking, and an excellent sliding challenge, and it's kept only for a moment in play. It ultimately is out, and Musa right on the spot.
That's a quality tackle from the holding midfielder, and you have to wonder why Swope didn't release the ball early. The guys crashed on the box, but good job by Phoenix Rising tracking back, making sure that we weren't beat on the counterattack.
Felipe Hernandez set to take this corner, the 19-year-old native of Colombia. Hernandez drives near post. Overhead kick. Brings it to Carlton Belmar, the former USL Rookie of the Year. Bounces to Barry. That's out for a goal kick. Well, we've talked about James Musa here already. New Zealand men's national team, 26 years old. It's his 4th year in total in the USL. Spent 2 years previous in St. Louis before going to Swope Park and reaching the final last year. Now he's in Phoenix, and it's our first chance to really get an extended look at number 41.
Unfortunately for the Rising, he came into camp with a little bit of a knock, dealing with an injury, and coming out of the Sporting Kansas City camp, coming over, and Rising super stoked to have him, but again, conversations with Patrice just telling us it's another one that they didn't want to force along too quick, and they're so very lucky to have such a talented roster. But credit to you, Michael, and your comment of the inability of the Phoenix Rising to be able to have the luxury of a first team to be able to send guys up and down, and that this is their squad and this is what they have to deal with. So although Patrice can sit there and say, look, I'm going to take my time, want to make sure everybody's happy, he's still only got a limited amount of roster spots. He can't loan or bring anybody in.
It's a throw coming for Phoenix. It's an early conversation. Pretty sure that Victor Rivas is explaining the inner workings of his timepiece. Ball chested down. Owako trying to find his way through. Didic able to knock that out for a corner. We know Owako's an incredible playmaker.
He's someone who's been a little bit lackadaisical in his efforts in the middle opening matches.
Ghanaian stepping back in the 4th minute. Ball lined up in front. Asante.
And this is something to keep an eye on as well. Phoenix Rising fans will notice that Alan Fernandez not getting the start here this evening, with Musa stepping into the middle of the field, and he usually handles the dead ball duties. And we've been a little bit critical of him and his inability to provide proper service on a regular basis. When he was subbed out 1 or 2 times the first couple of matches, Salomon Asante did step in and take that over. You see he steps into the first corner, so keep an eye on that.
Here's Adrian Zendejas. His record as the starter for Swope Park, 23 wins, 5 losses, 6 draws. Came in at the tail end of their 2016 surprising run to the USL Cup final and backstopped them the majority of their 2017 run. Phoenix a little, to steal a phrase, lackadaisical with some of these passes early on.
You can see it with that 4-3-3 formation. Talking about pushing pace and pushing numbers really makes the outside backs work harder. And like I said, on the defensive side of the ball, the holding midfielders have to keep a keen eye, always turning heads, because they play the 4-3-3. Everybody constantly shifting left and right, using a lot of pace. That can benefit Phoenix as well, though. Provides an opportunity, a little bit more open space, but again, you have to be interchangeable.
Didic, that game-tying goal against Phoenix. Playoffs last year in extra time. Well, this could get a little tough for Smith. Well, he does get it away by Barry. Colton Storm lost it, throw to Phoenix. to Asante. There's Owako. Dia to throw. He was traded by Sporting in 2016. He went to Montreal, and well, butterfly flapping its wings, right? He winds up with Didier Drogba, and now they're teammates again here in Phoenix. Those everything happens for a reason kind of deals, one would think.
That's what Jose talked about, the Defender of the Year player. He's just so talented.
Von Lambert going in hard on Tyler Blackwood. It's a yellow card.
You never want to see the yellow come out this early in the game, and it's a little bit rash from our referee, to be honest. Vaughn definitely steps in, and it's a nice 50-50 challenge. Not really sure it warrants a yellow card in the 8th minute of this match.
Blackwood scored 8 for Phoenix in 26 games 2 years ago, spent last year in Sacramento. Lambert picking up his 2nd yellow card of the season. Put back in play by Juan Kazane, Juan Kamal. We spoke with Patrice this week. I asked because 2 years ago under Marc Dos Santos, they were a great counterattacking team. Last year, again, different coach, is Asante trying to create. They move strictly from a counterattacking to a possession style under Nikola Popovic. And now under Paulo Nagamura, seems like they've kept that possession style, haven't they?
So to quote, probably the best in the league. Going further, saying that they're the best in possession in the league, and that's difficult to deal with, chasing all match long. And you see them do it week in and week out. They go, they win the possession battle, they play pretty football back and forth. Zane in the middle now, grabbing the ball, and Saravia, Blackwood up top, and they interchange so well. When you play the 4-3-3, you have to be so disciplined because the spacing, although open, is also so tight.
Played in behind, and Belmar had a cutout. Think back to last year, they had an 83% pass accuracy that was best in USL. They led the USL in passes, 13,778 by the time it was all said and done.
Patrice went on to say that though those statistics were large in this, that, and the other, he said, we also played Sporting Kansas City in the preseason. Right. We know what they're about. We asked, how difficult is it when you have a squad like Swope Park, who in their first few matches has put up 25 players on a roster coming in and out of every game, including first-team players? How difficult is it to scout them? Yeah, it's difficult. We've dealt with it before. Reference Real Monarchs and Real Salt Lake, obviously playing 2 games ago, losing 1-0. But we know what we're up against playing Sporting Kansas City in the first game, so they have a pretty good idea what the task at hand is here this evening.
Back by Saravia, the captain. Swope Park. Storm lost it. And the run out is on. Owako moved away by Storm. And out of that, a corner for Phoenix Rising. Asante, 3 goals on the year, doesn't have an assist. Asante drives. Lifted up by Dubose. Beg your pardon, Asante wasn't able to add to his season 1 assist.
And interestingly enough, we've seen the Rising do this before in other matches, usually a little bit later on. Asante and Forbes have already switched sides. Billy Forbes, a mainstay on the left side, getting up and down that wing, combination with Amadou Dia, but Patrice telling us that he lets the boys do their thing and switch back and forth, likes to mess with the opposing manager, technical staff, keep them thinking. Just haven't seen him do it this early on in a game.
Graham Smith, Hernandez. We spoke before the game off air. What do you think of Billy Forbes and how he fits into Phoenix? And the answer is we don't really know yet.
It's been very difficult for Billy to make it into the first 11. And first 2 games had a decent showing. Great assist to Solomon Asante, his first goal of the year. Ball to the byline, played to the back post, and a nice finish. But since then has been featured as a substitute. It's been very difficult for him to consistently get in there. Sometimes not even making the bench, and that's difficult for a player's psyche. But going further, Rising telling us that each and every player is in a positive manner, and they're going forward. They're happy to play good, fast, possession-oriented football, though we don't ever see that every match. You know, Patrice telling us that that's what their goal is, and he just wants Phoenix Rising fans to be happy and positive in every way, shape, and form, and he wants his squad to exhibit that as well.
Forbes had made a defensive play a moment ago. Guy who was an MVP candidate through 15 games in San Antonio, and then the goals went dry midway through the year. He's shown well over the long term. I think he could be a great piece for Phoenix. Wazinski takes over. Not a lot of him yet.
Waz has definitely been quiet. Hard to say from Waz, who tends to be, we'll say, a little bit more vocal back there, letting everybody know exactly where they should be. It's too nonchalant from Mike DeFont.
Belmar. Hernandez. Stabs it across. Zane. And Swope settles again. Feels like death by 500 passes sometimes, doesn't it?
And that's very difficult for a lot of teams. We briefly mentioned it.
Storm driving. Storm laying across. Stepping through. Contact. Rivas says no call.
It's a difficult decision for the referee, and you can see Haji Berry lobbying for the call. It's an excellent touch by the forward. We've seen him more of an assisting role, but you see Colton Sword getting up on the right as he usually does, and just right in between Mike DeFont's legs. DeFont very lucky that Luigi Mala able to step over, and the referee's not going to blow that whistle in that situation.
Well done by Asante, but he still has work to do here. And a whistle. That's from Alicia Messer. Works the near touchline. Isaiah Vlad on the other. Lazinski working from the back for Phoenix. A heavy touch. Hernandez didn't quite take it away. Throw coming for Storm as he tosses in his Select ball. Select, the official soccer ball of the United Soccer League. For the latest Select products and special offers, visit selectsportamerica.com. Receive free shipping on orders of $50 or more. Haji Berry. Put out by Dia. Storm stepping into this. Runs onto it. Colton Storm ripping across along the top of the 18. Deflected back to Belmar. Mar turned aside by DeBose. wins the throw. And you think back to last week, Devin, and what Patrice told us about that game against LA Galaxy 2. He went to the locker room at halftime and said, I didn't recognize this team in the first half, and they made some tactical changes, but he just said, don't play like that again, right?
He went so far as to say that the first 20 minutes was the worst he's ever seen them. And yeah, like you said, Mike, going a step further, I don't recognize them. I actually asked him specifically, listen, a lot of managers handle situations in games like that differently. Did you punish the boys? And he said, no, it's a little bit too early for me to punish them, and also I can't run them into the ground. So, but he did say, you know, not only did I not recognize them, I did give them a stern talking and said, don't show me that again. Show up next week of the team that I know. And kind of going back to the possession you brought up before Storm decided to go on a nice little one-on-one run. It's hard as an opposing player mentally to continuously chase, especially when you got a team like Swope Park Rangers that'll hold possession 60, 65, 70% of the game. You have to stay mentally sharp.
Ball for Forbes, hopped up. He wasn't able to bring it down. That was nearly something special from Cortez. You know, the more I've gotten to speak with Patrice over the last year since he came aboard, the more I realize it doesn't take screaming for him to really let you know he's disappointed. He can do it with his words and his tone. You can feel it.
And anything with a French accent makes it worse. As women say, it's the language of love and it's the sexy language, but it's also an angry language when he comes at you.
He was pleased that they were able to come away with a win, though. Didier Drogba's goal in the second half away to Los Angeles, the difference maker. Their most recent game. Both these teams level on the season. 3 wins, a loss, and a draw. Patrice Cartheron's side trying to put together a win here at home to start a 3-game homestand. They've got the Galaxy and Fresno coming up too. Barry slices through. Kozinski will catch up to that. Hear exclusive stories directly from the USL's players and USLsoccer.com's From the Pitch. Written and video content provides unfiltered access and a first-person look into the professional game and players' everyday lives. Think about Christian Duke, who was the captain for Swope Park last year, and the story that they just had about him with Orange County and how well Orange County started this season.
Braden Cloutier, I've talked about that multiple times off air. He's really got them fired up, and had the opportunity to see them in week 1. Didn't really know what we were going to get out of Orange County Soccer Club, and they came out and Phoenix jumped out 1-0 the opening 20 minutes. And then from there, it was just kind of a scrappy back and forth match.
Stolen away by Awako. Musa. Looking for that, we're calling it revenge, call it what you want, a long-range effort. And obviously Orange County, one of the most improved. Swope Park, we spoke with a Western Conference coach this week who said, for my money, they're the best team in the USL right now. Big praise, but think about who left. Their captain and Christian Duke, Tyler Pasher, Oliveira's gone, Gonzalez, Palmer Brown, Selbo, Maloto, Ballo. Some of them have moved to the first team, but it means they're not playing with Swope Park full time, and that's a loss for them.
And don't forget the man at the helm jumping ship as well. So losing a lot of players, but they have a great system in place, this organization, starting from the top, working all the way down. And you see it. You see it in the first team, and guys are so interchangeable, and that's a testament to the program that they've put together and the ability for guys to come and go and be able to be a mainstay in the first team, step back, help out in the second squad, or work their way up from the second squad and jump into the first.
Billy Forbes lightning up the field and tossed down. Kuzain and Didic both involved on the challenge. And now a chance for Swope Park to try and get up the other way. Barry, arm barred away.
It's well done by Mala. And interestingly enough, on the run, Billy Forbes stepping up, moving into the middle, but no support whatsoever on the counterattack. Normally, when Phoenix starts pushing up the field, you can see the guys flying, but all by himself. You got to give credit to Swope Park Rangers stepping back, because he couldn't even step on the ball, had 3-4 guys surrounding him.
Mala. DeFont, who's played a nice role at the outset. Excited to see in the 18, Joey Farrell is available tonight. That center back position has just a little more competition. Foul around midfield. Was against Asante.
Oh, watch like Musa Farrell coming in the offseason and kind of bitten by the injury bug as well. I'll know the mainstay that he was at the center back position for Bob Lilly and the Rochester Rhinos 2 years in a row, and Patrice telling us that he brought him in and he expected him to be the starter and just got caught by an injury that plagued him in preseason. Didn't know about it right away. When they found out, they started to shut him down a little bit, and credit to Mike DeFont, who's done a great job sliding in there. So something similar on the outside. Devontae DeBose battling for the spot with Cody Wakasa, and DeBose has just done such a great job back there. That was the biggest question for the Rising coming into the season is we know they can score goals. We know what they can do in transition. Look who they've acquired going forward. We've still got Drogba, yada, yada, yada. What are the back four going to do? Because that's where they really struggle. And credit to them, they've been excellent so far.
Off the back heel of DeBose. Service wound across. Ricochets wide. And a corner for Swope Park Rangers. Swope, the first team to go to back-to-back USL Cup finals in this modern era, falling to Red Bulls 5-1 in Harrison, New Jersey in 2016, and falling to Louisville City in Kentucky last year, 0-0. Late heartbreaker. Hernandez sends it away. Scoops across. Long range. The USL's official Twitter feed keeps you up to date. News, live game updates, and highlights from around the league 24/7. Follow along at USL on Twitter. Georgi Ristov had his goal posted a couple of moments ago. Number 57, now the all-time record holder. He's tied atop Rowdy's lore. They knock off Real Monarchs in a intra-conference matchup would be the way to describe it.
Is that what we're calling it? Intra-conference?
Intra-league.
Intra-league.
A yellow card shown. That's Hernandez, his second yellow of the year. In the 25th minute. That's a bit of a cheap one for the 19-year-old.
And Joe Cole had a field day. Joe Cole jumping out in front in the 40th minute. Just terrible turnover by the Monarchs back line and able to beat the goalkeeper. Cole also assisting on Ristov's goal. So goal and assist for that young man.
Means these two teams. Yeah, and they're just compared to Joe Cole.
There you go.
Yeah. Means these two teams have some room to perhaps jump up here from fourth. A Wako. Ball falls out in front. Forbes skied it. Oh, bodies everywhere. Asante was down. Forbes the last effort. Cortez was running through. Swope dodges a bullet.
And what we haven't seen so far on these set pieces are the big boys getting involved. Amadou Dia, Mike DeFont. DeFont gets the tiniest little touch on it. It's a great save from Zendejas, and then you see Asante misses, and Billy Forbes, you got to lean over that, buddy. Great ball dropping right on the doorstep. He leans over, puts that on frame, an opportunity to jump out in front, but Billy Forbes sails it over the bar.
Forbes went through an 18-game stretch last year where he had just one goal.
Billy boy, you're going to find what you're looking for.
That said, he did have 10 goals in total for San Antonio, a group that thrived on the counterattack. Can say he certainly does too. Now that got out of play for Haji Berry, who came over from Orlando. Owako. Musa. Dia. Oh, it gets through Storm. Forbes slid away. Vital moment from Smith, but Forbes again. Crossing collision. Zendejas holds on. Imploring better out of his defense.
Well, I tell you, Colton Storm does a great job at that outside back position, going both ways. But unfortunately for him, so far this season, he's been very questionable in some of his tactics. Saw the own goal a couple games ago versus Vegas, and see him turning the ball over there, trying to track back versus Billy Forbes. It's a good tackle by Kuzain, but even better goalkeeping by Zendejas. Phoenix knocking on the doorstep here a little bit.
It's Belmar. Buried the return ball. Musa snuffed it out.
Hard to see from that angle, and Musa gave him a little love tap as he went around him as well. Belmar didn't really like that very much.
And a foul and another card. Everyone could be walking away with one of those by the end of the night. It's like this was Didic.
Oprah's refereeing the game. You get a card, you get a card, you get a card. Unfortunate for Gladson Owako, dangerous territory. Normally we'd see Drogba step up into this situation. Second boy would be Colin Fernandez, neither which are on the pitch this evening. So Gladson Owako's gonna have a go. You can see the way he's set up. Probably looking for an in-swinging ball, put it right around the penalty mark, just between there and the 6-yard box, let someone run onto it.
It was wonderful textured service last time around, wasn't it? Gladson Owako, this is right off the training ground. Asante, Owako again. Owako dispossessed. Excellent. Saravia, native of Guatemala. Now Belmar.
That's a wasted effort by the Phoenix Rising. Cannot give Swope Park a reason to stay in this game. Want to keep them at bay, limit their possession. When you get an opportunity, close range in situations like that, make the most of it. You said, Mike, took the words right out of my mouth, something from the training ground. I think it's going to need to go back there and stay there for a little bit. It was executed quite poorly.
What is it, the enemy always has a vote? They were up to the task there. Here's Colton Storm. Storm going one-on-one, sends the service, bounces through the 18. Now the run out is on again. Off the head of Kuzain. Hitters out on the far side. Hey fans and Devin, make sure you visit your Valley local supermarket, pick up a Phoenix Rising branded bottle of Arizona Gunslinger.
I have to get in touch with Jose Bosch and let him know that some Gunslinger and their famous donuts need to start making their way in my direction. I'm not really sure our producer would let that fly by, but
Right.
you can dream.
Can you get a message to Jose Bosch? We're at the half-hour mark at the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex in Scottsdale. Scoreless between Phoenix and Swope Park with Devin Kerr, Mike Watts, Jose Bosch down on the field, and our entire team. Happy to have you aboard tonight. Swope coming off a 14-day layoff. Phoenix, a team that's opening up a 3-game homestand, taking on 2 California sides the next couple weeks. On the ground for Belmar, slid out by DeBose. Zendejas again. Cortez giving chase. He's had a quiet 31.5 minutes. Exactly how Swope Park would like to keep it. Storm. Saravia arriving again. Forbes is all the way at the Phoenix byline. Storm swerves in across. Deflects from Devont. And it's skied out of play. Well, it had all the makings of a strugglesome moment for Phoenix, but Belmar didn't make the rising pay.
This is one of those difficult balls. You see Colton Storm's going to hit an in-swinger. Actually hits it quite poorly, needs to put something closer to the goal. And as the ball's coming in, Mike Defont, very difficult. Just on the edge of his head. That's where you want Luigi Mala to step up, say, my ball. He steps into it, has a nice clearance, unfortunately takes a deflection. Lucky to escape that situation. Better communication from Rising.
Haji Berry. Fourth meeting in the regular season. Phoenix has won one. They've drawn twice. And they met in the playoffs last year. This is the first of two games between the two sides. The other in the Kansas City area on May the 26th. Zendejas. There's no panic in this Swope Park side. Marr looking for Barry. Second time's the charm. Marr. Ball for Hernandez.
We'll see that out of them pretty much any minute that they're playing. Up 2-0, up 4-0, or down 2 goals. Like you see right now, just coasting 0-0. They like to carry possession. They're very clever, very crafty with their movements. Nagamura has stepped in and filled the role well, but starting from the top, moving all the way down. We referenced it already. They just train this squad so well. They play that 4-3-3 to a perfection almost each and every match, and the results show it.
Every time you talk with these folks out of the sporting organization, they'll tell you they have a winning mentality top to bottom. It's a really impressive conversation to have, whether it be with Mark Dos Santos or with Nikola Popovic, or Paulo Nagamura understands it as well as anybody as a player and was an assistant, the team that reached the final last year. Wako. That's clean stuff there. Saravia.
And the reason they're able to get away with that, Mike, is Peter Vermees is such a specific, we'll say, specific individual who demands greatness out of all of his players, but he knows exactly what these guys, I should say what he wants out of these guys. And that's one of the things that you get out of a system. We'll reference it in soccer and NFL and things like that, but it really is a testament to what the club can do. Not taking anything away from a player in general and all his personal preferences and ability to perform, but the option and opportunity for all of these guys to interchange on a regular basis is such a difficult thing to do, constantly messing with chemistry.
Saravia finding Storm. Storm, one good cut. Now he's got a second. Storm curling out of play. Final product not quite up to the standard of the initial couple moves.
Unfortunately, Colton Storm can serve a pretty decent ball with his right foot, but once he puts it on that left peg, it's exactly what it sounds like, just kind of a poke and a hope, if you will.
Hey, fans, visit the USL's Instagram story every Monday evening. Watch Kelsey Steele's hat trick as she breaks down 3 key talking points from the previous week's action. Knocked back by Kuzain. That's Luigi Mala, the Ivorian. Lambert plays back. Mike Defont. Cortez gets the return. Well, that's a handball, and you just wondered whether or not that was seen.
It's good ball movement by the Rising, though. First time we've really seen them pinging around the park like that. I'll tell you, when these guys start to ooze with confidence, the ball really does work, does all the work for them. Just put it on the carpet, let it go. It shows you what they're capable of. Unfortunately, Swope Park holding so much of the possession, it gets you out of rhythm. So for you to go from a standstill to Mach 1 is extremely difficult to do. Step by Luigi Mala.
To Zendejas, 39th minute. Cortez steers into the middle of the field. Belmar, 3 red jerseys in pursuit. Lambert. Now the race is on. Asante. Cortez. Cortez cutting, put a ton of pace on that. Didic circles around, born in Bosnia, raised in Canada, moved at a year old. Didic, a guy who was a Defensive Player of the Year finalist in this league 2 years ago. Part of a somewhat revamped Swope Park defense. They've kept Colton Storm, and they've kept Didic for the most part. But Smith new to the equation, and Marker Marr returning from last year at the left back position, started about 2/3 of the game.
Graham Smith has been, I want to call him the bright light, but it's difficult to say when you've got a defense that has been prone to giving up goals here in the early few games of this USL season. And they've been putting up numbers as well, but you're winning 4-3 and 4-2 and this, that, and the other. That's not always great. You know, 5 goals given up here and 2 goals given up there. Your goal differential is still going to be right along that line of +1, +2 at best. So Nagamura want to tighten that up in the back.
Forbes dipped his head down to be able to pull this in. Forbes making the move! Got under it, skies it out of the complex.
And this is what you want from the Rising. You want Billy Forbes isolated in one-on-one situation. Shocked from Billy Forbes that he actually decides to pull it inside and put it on his right foot. We know that he likes to use the left so well. And you can just see it there. Billy a little bit frustrated with himself. Not a bad representation of his field goal kicking abilities, though.
go back a step. 1 goal allowed the last 2 games, 7 in the first 3. Swope seemingly has figured it out. And I think you mentioned it earlier, they're starting the same back 4. There's value to that. You played center back, you know that as well as anybody.
That's the biggest thing. It's people don't understand that a lot of times you don't see everything that's going on back there, and neither do we. There is so much of passing and just communication that goes on behind the scenes that is not seen eye to eye. You're constantly having your back turned, looking over your shoulder, guys talking to you, this, that, and the other, shift left, shift right, step back, step forward. So for them to be able to get on the same page is a huge thing. And I think you do have to give credit to the gentleman we were just talking about, Graham Smith. Gentleman out of Denver, drafted 18th by Sporting KC this year. He's played every minute for the Swope Park Rangers so far.
Oh, nice step in. It's Blackwood. Fans here know just how dangerous he is. It's off of Dubose. Take it a step further. Didic is a former Player of the Year, defensive finalist in this league, and 2 first-round picks on that back line for Swope Park. That is a ton of talent.
A loaded roster, and then you keep going forward. And we've heard this in the press that Barry, Belmar, all those guys, they're looking to push them in the first team.
Asante up the line, crossed, Forbes, glancing blow.
Billy Forbes tucking in, 5'9". Some air on that one.
Speaking with Darren Powell, who was the head coach for him at San Antonio last year, he spoke to us a bit about wanting to get him in the right places and finding those places during the week for a guy like Billy Forbes. In that case, he certainly found himself in just the right spot on the breakout.
He did a good job, and with Billy Forbes, obviously you want to put him in space. He has so much pace, so the opportunity to get the ball in front of him, out in front, and let him run onto something is a huge thing. He's one of those guys that has the ability to carry that pace with the ball at his feet. You can see in first 45, 44 minutes of this game, haven't been able to do so.
That's got to be a card, right? Hernandez is down in a heap. Yeah, it's a yellow card. It goes to Dubose.
Another look at the challenge right now. And there's Dubose. Right on cue, Mike just stepping in, leaving his feet. That's a bit of inexperience from the right back.
Just the 6th professional game he's played in, the former 4th-round pick of San Jose.
As a defender, you got to be smart. Anytime you leave your feet, you're almost forcing the referee's hand, especially when you're isolated in a one-on-one situation. It's kind of a last resort. I don't think he was anywhere near that. He had plenty of troops in support.
It's a set piece for Swope Park shortly before halftime. Hernandez. That got out. It's a goal kick. 2 minutes of first half stoppage time. Zinski making his 6th start. He made 5 in USL play all of last year with Josh Cohen taking over the role. Attack on through Belmar. Belmar on the instep. Barry. Trying to motion traffic around. There's room here again for Storm. We've seen him here time and again. Give and go falls short.
Cotton candy. Some of that cotton candy, Mike.
He's got lemonade, I think, in that.
Frozen lemonade?
I think regular.
These guys got to get it together. Regular lemonade.
It's 84 degrees outside.
It's got to be frozen.
All right. Bounced away from Mar. Chance to get ahead here for Phoenix. Ricochets out, goal kick. We've reached halftime, and well, Swope has come and played their game, haven't they?
Yeah, they've done well. They've carried almost 70% possession. They're dictating the motion and potion of the game, if you will. But look, Rising have had a few opportunities. Billy Forbes twice, one of which deciding to just knock it through the uprights. And I'll tell you, if they go with speed, they go with pace, and when they go in transition, they got to have someone coming to support to help. They have an opportunity to get out in front and put some in the back of the net.
Billy Forbes and Phoenix Rising have had some chances in this opening half. But Zendejas and Swope Park have quelled their insurrection for the moment. Rough and tumble as it ever was. The playoff rematch is level at halftime. Does it sound familiar? Back with more after this.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Yo soy el Dr. José Francisco Carrasco de Happy Kids Pediatrics. Para nosotros, sinceramente, lo más importante es la salud y el bienestar de sus niños.
Happy Kids Pediatrics son clínicas especializadas en pediatría enfocadas en la salud y el bienestar de los niños con localidades cómodas, limpias y cercanas a usted. Podrá ver al mismo proveedor médico constantemente. Aceptamos access, aseguranzas privadas y precios especiales para pacientes sin seguro médico. Happy Kids Pediatrics, sirviendo a la comunidad hispana por más de 18 años.
If you just sign that first
I'm
one
so
there.
sorry. I don't feel comfortable signing that.
I don't get the math here.
Was this the same car we talked about?
What's this dealer preparation fee?
I'm so sorry. This just is not.
What we talked about.
Get the car without the car salesman. Carvana, the new way to buy a car.
Phoenix Rising FC y Didier Drogba están subiendo intensidad en esta temporada con un equipo internacional más grande, con más velocidad y más fuerte que nunca. Únete a la acción en el complejo futbolístico Phoenix Rising en Scottsdale y experimenta las mayores emociones y habilidades del fútbol profesional.
Los siguientes en el campo. Phoenix Rising se enfrenta a Fresno FC. Sábado, abril 28 a las 7 p.m. Consigue tus boletos en phxrisingfc.com.
Phoenix Rising FC. Nos elevamos unidos.
Welcome back, everyone, to Phoenix Rising Soccer. We got a very special guest for us. He's coming in right here. As some of you guys know, it is Military Appreciation Night with APS. And joining me with APS is Hal Pittman. Hal, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great. How is an event like this, how do you feel about an event like this, doing something for local military members, active and veterans?
So first of all, it's fantastic that the Phoenix Rising is sponsoring this Military Appreciation Night. And, you know, I know there's been some free tickets and things like that. We're going to have an opportunity to honor some of the members of our Arizona Corporate Council on Veteran Careers. These are representatives of organizations that are working on veteran hiring, veteran mentoring in the workforce across the state of Arizona. So this is a great night for us. We're having a great time and just happy to be here.
Now, did you have a chance to see the camo drawstring bags and then the warm-up tops?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Did you have a chance to see the camo bags and the warm-up tops?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
How'd you like those?
They're fantastic. You guys have done an awesome job.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you guys at APS for helping us with Military Appreciation Night. Now, before I let you go, it's 0-0. Can you give the fans out there a score prediction, final score prediction?
Let's go with 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah.
You know, the last person that made that prediction, that's what happened. So hopefully we keep the streak going. Thank you very much, Hal.
Maybe I'll have some foresight.
Appreciate it. All right, we'll go back to break, and when we come back, more Phoenix Rising Soccer after this.
Welcome to the 4th episode of The Breakdown. Once again, I've handpicked my plays of the week, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Ball sent in. Cross the way, team save, keeps it 1-0.
This clip is both attacking and defensive. You see on the Orange County counter-attack here, he does extremely well to carry his run forward, and he gives the defense of San Antonio a lot of problems. And then if you flip it now and you look at his recovery run, it's fantastic. You know, he tracks the immediate run of the attacker, and then he follows it through and continues to back up his keeper on the line. And it's a fantastic goal line clearance, and it keeps them in the game after 60 minutes.
Out. Back to Sorry. Chip toward the back post. Felix Chaykum, and an early goal for S2.
The reason I've picked this clip is not just the finish and the header, but also if you watch Sari's assist. He backs up his winger here, and he creates himself an extremely good angle to give that cross. And technically it's an extremely tough pass to make. When the ball's coming at you and you've got to give a 90-degree angle on it and cross it at the back post, it's extremely difficult because you have to think about all sorts at that stage. You have to think about the keeper coming to catch it, but then also giving the loft to get it over the defender and down. And it's a fantastic assist, and that's the reason it's in my play of the week.
For O-line, Von Williams. Stepped up, his number was called. Look at this, perfectly timed. It's Sunni Saad. Saad lines him up.
Sunni Saad's goal for Indy 11, for me, was created purely by Iozzi's pass here. When the ball's played into Iozzi, he takes a couple steps back, and that gives him the opportunity to get his head up and see Saad's movement. And it's a fantastic driven pass over the defense, and it's a fantastic finish into the corner with good disguise.
Stability in terms of paying so that players from the Caribbean, players from South America.
This clip is one of my favorite ones. The athletic trainer for St. Louis, is just so casual with it. I mean, he takes it out the air one-handed as if he's not done anything about it. And you know, he's caught it and throw back, just dead casual, and I think he's amazed every single player on the bench, including all his players. So as you can see from the breakdown this week, it's not just players that get on, it's also athletic trainers. So keep that in mind for future games. I hope you've enjoyed my hand-picked plays from the week on the 4th episode of The Breakdown, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Welcome back to Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. Phoenix and Swope Park scoreless at halftime. Well, let's talk a bit about hat tricks, why don't we? And 3 is indeed a magic number. A couple of hat tricks in 3 consecutive weeks here. And Voltson for Orange County against Tulsa, Nico Brett against TFC2. Who can forget what Chris Cortez did?
It's such a great job. Sante jumped in there as well, and Cortez having an assist on Sante's goal, and Voltson doing a good job too. And Nico Brett, player of the week, week 4, stepping in. All those guys. 3 is a magic number. How many hat tricks you had in your life?
Nil.
My man.
Nada.
My man.
Said the center back. All right, get a grip there, buddy. Nico Brett doing it for a Bob Lilly coach team. Now we're cooking with gas against TFC2 in their match at Highmark Stadium. Meanwhile, USL Team of the Week, Mostica Scher for Real Monarchs, former Colorado Springs guy getting up there up front. And meanwhile in the back, Amadou Dia, familiar face.
Again, we talked about how the USL has decided to slide him into that center back role, but Footy Danso, familiar face. Luke Vercoloni, Colorado Springs switchbacks, struggling earlier on in the week. And how about Sunni Saad, his 2 goals, including that 35-yard free kick laser. I get the general Matt Pickens struggling, the Civil War vet fighting back in, losing 2-0.
Let's take a look at some of the power rankings in the United Soccer League. Louisville City settles for a draw, a penalty in stoppage time. One of the futures of American soccer. Andrew Carlton away to Atlanta United 2. Real Monarchs losing. There's some room up there for 5 and 6.
And Lou City definitely had the run of game there and carried most of the possession, most opportunities. But you mentioned Andrew Carlton, future. Also missed a PK in that match, don't forget, and sailed one over the bar. But I'll tell you what, a little bit of shifting. Even though Lou City tied, Real Monarchs dropping Tampa Bay Rowdies in Tampa 2-0. So keep an eye there. And again, we're going to see 5 and 6 interchanging as well.
How about what's coming up? We got some notable games for you. On ESPN 3, we visit Cashman Field, Las Vegas Lights, and San Antonio FC. no one's quite figured out what's going on with this, but there's also some games on Sunday before we get there.
It takes a lot of emotion and energy just to get in and out of Las Vegas in general, yet alone to go watch one of their games. But we talked about Braden Cloutier and their opportunity out there in Orange County Soccer Club, doing a good job. Jerson Echeverry trying to get the RGV boys and that Houston contingency headed in the right direction. Fresno, you like Fresno. You like their ability to maintain possession. They move the ball around. A little bit unfortunate with some of their results so far, but I think they put together some positive efforts.
Yeah, it just took Tulsa getting one of those special goals to knock them off in the midweek. Well, whether you're watching on ESPN Plus or your view Arizona in the Phoenix area, we're at halftime, and we're scoreless between Swope Park and the Rising. When we come back, we'll have a look at our first half highlights and our first half stats. We'll kick off the second half.
If you just sign that first
I'm
one
so
there.
sorry. I don't feel comfortable signing that.
I don't get the math here.
Was this the same car we talked about?
What's this dealer preparation fee?
I'm so sorry. This just is not.
What we talked about.
Get the car without the car salesman. Carvana, the new way to buy a car.
Worried about your kids' health care? Sick of doctor's offices with no appointments available? Let Happy Kids Pediatrics help. Our hand-picked staff is carefully cultivated to provide professional and compassionate care when your child needs it. Plus, we happily accept access, private insurance, and even offer special pricing for patients with no health insurance. With over 18 years providing quality health care to Valley children in our convenient Valley-wide locations, you can trust your child's health care to Happy Kids Pediatrics.
Spruce up your home this spring with the newest selection from Pruitt's. We've got all the latest styles at refreshingly low prices, like this Abbey Espresso 5-piece dinette, table and 4 stools, just $199. Or this Elenia smaller scale 2-piece sectional, yours for just $599. Visit Pruitt's for the best selection and lowest prices this season at Alma School and Ray or Thomas Road and 34th Street. Pruitt's, proudly serving the Valley for over 65 years.
Fans enjoying seats all about that far touchline. They've enjoyed the halftime entertainment, but they're hoping this second half will be a little bit more up than the first half was. Devin Kurz alongside Mike Watts. And let's take a look at our first half highlights. And, well, there are not a ton of them. That's how Swope Park wanted it.
And this is Von Lambert's challenge in the 8th minute. Again, shocked that our referee went to the book in this situation, but you got to do what you got to do, and he wanted to set the tone early on. Von Lambert saw that a few times from the Rising, giving the ball away unnecessarily, but man, a couple opportunities here and there. Ball worked back. Signee James Musa doing a good job, just brings it across his body, puts it on his right foot, but cannot get any power on it whatsoever, and that's easy pickings for Zendejas.
Move forward, Gladson Awako. That's an interesting ball, and a couple players had a chance at it in the end. Forbes over.
The best chances of the half, sorry about that, Mike, were from Billy Forbes, and you saw a good ball floated in. Again, Font gets a touch on it. Asante tries to go for it. Right at the top of the box. Billy Forbes on the right foot puts it over. And here's another one. Good ball served across. Zendejas, excellent goalkeeping. Billy Forbes would get another opportunity where he would bring it back and put it on his right foot. But again, just no marksmanship from anybody on the pitch whatsoever here this evening. No ingenuity. It's very stereotypical from both squads. Again, a lot of possession for Swope Park Rangers, but Forbes trying to make the most of what he's had the opportunity for. I'd like to see Patrice Carterone give someone else an opportunity up top, stretch the field a little bit more. This is the other one we talked about. Brings it across and just right over the bar. There's no pace, there's no speed. That's what they're known for. Get back to basics, go with what works for you, get the job done.
A look at our first half stats, and you said it right before halftime, nearly 70% possession for Swope Park Rangers. Still, they haven't turned that to any shots on target, and that should make Phoenix fans feel a bit better.
Big time for the Rising, and that back line that's been so good for them. And again, you're not going to get a lot of opportunities when you play a squad like this, so you have to bide your time, pick and choose your possession battles that you want to win. And when you go in and you win, you need to go forward, go with pace. The 2 or 3 times that we did see them go, interestingly enough, you saw Billy Forbes, you saw an Owako, you saw an Asante getting forward and breaking them down, but they were isolated. They had no help whatsoever. You can't play one-man uphill battle versus 5 guys.
So Swope and Phoenix level through halftime. Goals on the board yet. And you think ahead for what these teams have on the docket. Swope Park looking ahead, St. Louis next, and then they're at Oklahoma City. It's a group that has just 1 loss in their last 9 in totality going back to last year. You think about Phoenix, they'll look ahead to a 3-game homestand. Fresno and LA Galaxy 2 next before they take on the Oklahoma teams, OKC Energy and Tulsa. And you can legitimately see a route for both of these teams to get on a little bit of a run here if they find that moment here in the second half.
You start with Swope Park Rangers, Nagamura and his boys, and they're in a stretch right now where you mentioned those couple games, usually 7 out of 9 games total on the road. Every coach deciding exactly what they want to do on the road early, on the road late. That's going to give them the opportunity to play at home a little bit more later on in the season, which can be a mainstay and help them out big time. And jumping over to Phoenix Rising, look, last year 11-1-3 in their final 15 games. So Patrice Cardrone steering them in the right direction and getting on that run. And look, you can say whatever you want about them in the opening few games of this season, but so far they've been able to get results. Unfortunately for them, it's been very inconsistent in play. But the worst case scenario, you're 5 games in, we don't know exactly what we have out of them, and you've only lost 1 game.
Both teams, I think, can say that at this present moment. Swope Park, to your point, 11 of their last 17 after July the 15th are at home. Had a game postponed last week, a home game. Would have been a nice chance for them to regain their footing in the Kansas City area. But instead, on the road again, taking on Phoenix. What does Haji Berry have in store? And he played a bit with Orlando City and MLS and with OCB last year. Can the Swope team get their offense back in gear? Come off a 1-1 draw against San Antonio, but that was all the way back on April the 7th. And amazingly, it's a group that last year, Devin, had 0 players in the all-USL best 11 or second best 11, despite finishing in the top 4, hosting a playoff game, winning on the road with a decent clip last year in the regular season, and going through the playoffs at home, making it to the USL Cup final. They felt a little slighted by it. They felt like they played really quality football. They've played good football here, they just don't have a goal to show for it.
It's one of those things you and I talk about. It doesn't matter if you maintain 90% possession, you have 25 shots on goal. You don't put anything in the back of the net. Goals win games. But I tell you, on that stat that you gave, that's a staggering statistic to think that all of the accolades that they built up and their ability to score goals and maintain possession and this, that, and the other, work their way on the road, get a home game in the playoffs, and obviously lose a very tough final to Louisville City. It's still no one in either one of those first 2 teams. That's staggering to think.
Lusa, that ahead, one of those players who probably felt a bit wronged, rightfully so. Didic, who was a Player of the Year finalist defensively 2 years ago. Get the opportunity to make an all-USL team last year. Zendejas comes out to collect. Devin Kerr. Glad to have you with us. Cortez, get a touch to that. Well, if you're Phoenix, what do you do in this second half? Is this about possessing the ball more? And I know how disappointed Patrice was the way things started in LA, but he got the right message out to his team at halftime. What's the message now?
Swope Park Rangers, it's not a battle you want to fight, the possession battle with them, because they're talented, all of these guys, to play that system that Sporting Casey and Peter Vermees has put into place. I talked about it, just bide your time. When the opportunities present themselves, try and pounce on them. You don't want to start chasing and laying waste to every single thing in front of you. Swope Park Rangers will eat you up in that situation, so just sit back. Don't give them an opportunity to get in the final third. We're seeing now. Keep the ball in front of you. If they want to go side to side, that's fine, and Swope Park will do that a lot. They'll shift from left to right. They'll spray balls all over. As long as they're not pushing down into the final third, you're okay.
Corner kick coming up. Felipe Hernandez out of the academy affiliation with Sporting Nashville. Still just 19. Hernandez, header skips across. It's knocked down only for a moment. Gets as far as Parker Marr. Forbes nearly took it back for Phoenix. Header by Didic. Cortez lobs it over the back line. Flag was up.
That one's got to be on Billy Forbes. You see Cortez takes a little peek over his shoulder as that ball comes in through the middle. Billy Forbes has got to hold that line, give his forward an opportunity to play that ball into space.
Belmar against DeBose. Belmar leveling off, and it's hit the wrong way. Saravia stays in on the spin. Now played low for Barry. Is there a run out to be had here for Phoenix? Touched further. Forbes lost it. Saravia, Barry. Wide right. Storm plays it. Knocked aside by Wazinski. First time he's really been called upon. He put that into a absurdly dangerous place.
It's good stuff from by Waz back there, and well done, because he had Barry crashing on the back post. Most definitely would have gotten on the end of that.
Did all he could and was able to knock that back up the middle. Swope continues their run here. 4 minutes into the second half. Wazinski's impressed a lot this year, taking that starting job back. Marr, shifting. Belmar, crossing, cut out. Marr may have a second bite at this. Hernandez. It's a foul against Luigi Mala.
It's not a foul. I think the Rivas blowing the whistle a little prematurely there. Here's that chance a moment ago. Great job by Swope Park getting to the byline, playing it across. Again, we talked about Waz stepping up into space. Good job recognizing that the back post run was there by Belmar. Rivas having a conversation with the captain, Chris Cortez. That turn a second ago, Carlton Belmar just pulling it between his legs, thinking he got around Luigi Mala. But I tell you, something that most people don't know. I saw the sprinklers on earlier, so it's a little bit slippery out there.
These guys go off to the locker room and they water the pasture again.
That's right.
I've talked to enough players about this. I get the feeling some feel like that's an overdone experience. I can't say that's the case in Phoenix. I know it's the case in some other places.
Get caught in the sprinklers?
Having the sprinklers on too long.
Yeah, it's...
I mean, getting caught in the sprinklers is actually a great summertime activity.
That's when they turn on during the match or in warm-ups. That's always the fun ones.
Marr had that touch get a little bit too far, and play is going to come all the way back. Pointing a bound. How about Didier Drogba up on his feet? Right behind the AR. Oh, it's a yellow card. Goes to Musa. Nagamura is pointing down the line as well.
You can see everybody in the technical area stepping up, having a word with Victor Rivas. The Rising not very happy with the referee and his decision-making over the past few minutes.
Talk about the coaches standing up, but Didier Drogba is still right behind the AR.
It's one of those ones where you tell him to sit down.
Owner, right?
Captain, player, spokesman, icon,
owner,
friend.
Friend?
I use that in a vague term.
Right.
Vague. I saw him once.
Yeah. Didier not playing tonight. Phoenix going to find a goal here without him. He was the difference maker against Galaxy 2 in their most recent game. It's still scoreless here in the 53rd. That touched most every body part for two different players. Finally does come down. Kicked away from Asante, who Patrice had coached previously, has won a lot with in past stints as a manager elsewhere. Notably has said he might have been our best player over these first 5 games in every game.
He goes on to say not only has he most likely been our best over the first 5 games, he's not at his best, that he expects more out of him, that what we've seen out of him, as your friend has referred to him as Solomon 3-goal-a-game Asante.
Oh yeah?
we should expect more, and we should expect that on a regular basis too.
Moose tries to play it through. Cortez got a touch. Kicked away from Owako. So hold up. Asante couldn't combine. That ball headed towards your living room. Owako, a guy with a ton of experience, including playing for Patrice Cartheron previously. And that's a foul and a free kick to Phoenix. It's Asante to contact.
Good ball movement by Phoenix, getting around. You can see Parker Marr just getting a little ahead of himself, a little touchy-feely. And now if you're Phoenix, take your time, get set, stay composed. See Gladson Owako standing over the ball. Hit a couple of these in the first half. How about Sendejas cheating big time? I'd love to see someone crash on the near post.
Owako popped up at Idic. Lofts it across the halfway line. 10 minutes into the second half. Forbes a header. Graham Smith lobs it out. That's better right now from Phoenix. Lambert, the Jamaican international, DeBose. Forbes lost it. Avia now played long. Speed. Barry. Wazinski slid that away. Near catastrophe.
You can see Luigi having a conversation with Waz. Waz not happy with his center back playing it in that situation. But Luigi saying, my bad, steps up, has a clearance.
Well, and DeFont slid in there. Wazinski, I think, would have had a pretty decent handle on that. Corner for Swope Park. Service punched by Carl Wazinski. Follow-up shot is wide. It's a nice hit by Kuzain. Looked like he got all of that on the dip.
This is why you let the little guys hang outside the box on restarts and balls being swung in like that. Get a pretty good look. Hernandez, nice in swinging ball. Good job by Waz, stepping up, punches out. Difficult in situations like that because when you punch, you want to push to the side. Don't want to give anybody an opportunity in the middle field, step up, get a second effort, and that's exactly what you saw there.
Lambert going along. Forbes did really well to bring that down, plays it across, off of Marr, attack still on. It's Asante, edge of the area, taken away by Swope Park. Maybe there's some life here. Belmar charging up the near touchline. Comes to Graham Smith, 18th overall pick to Sporting Kansas City, 22 years old. What a back heel. Marr played away from him. Carlton Belmar's got a full bag of tricks.
Belmar a little bit chappy after that. Didn't like the tug that he got, but as you said, Mike, Belmar so versatile. He and Haji Berry really are a force to be reckoned with in that top three.
15 goals last year. That was most of anyone in the league when you take out the penalties. Did not take a penalty last year. Service is knocked aside by Cortez. Storm, Marr, and they cycle it back. Yes, Hernandez. And it slid out. Hernandez to throw. Saravia. Header is caught by Wazinski. Smith again, played at Oregon State with Kyrie Shelton, who came over to Sporting Kansas City over the offseason from NYCFC. Shelton taken in that first draft of NYCFC in the league, the same year as Orlando City. Orlando, memory serves, took Kyle Larin, one spot over him. Marr, top of the 18. Back for Hernandez.
Wazinski having a little bit more of an effort here in the second half. As we approach the 61st minute, doing a good job stepping up with the punch. We saw on the Kuzain half volley, top of the box. Some stepping over, ball service into the middle, stepped up into the six, punch out. A change in pace a little bit here. You're referencing goals, Mike. About a team that so prolific last year in the offense of Dane Kelly, Reno 1868. It's gone from bad to worse for Ian Russell and those boys as Victor Arboleda has jumped out 1-0 for T2.
T2 quietly is starting to make a few waves.
They're creeping in there, sitting in the 8th spot right now, and Reno 0-3-1. Sitting in the 17th spot in the Western Conference.
Well, think back to the game they played against Swope Park. They were up big in that game. They fell 4-3. And remarkably, that game played in a pseudo blizzard in Reno.
I've called it the Ice Bowl, just saying.
Snow Classico is what they would call that in Colorado.
There you go.
Remember that game at Dick's Sporting Goods Park against Costa Rica in the old World Cup qualifiers last time around? Musa knocking it over the top. Oh, Forbes was close by. Select is the official soccer ball of the United Soccer League. The latest Select products and special offers are on SelectSportAmerica.com. You can receive free shipping, orders of $50 or more. Well, it's weekend number 2 of the USL's new partnership with ESPN, a multi-year agreement, one that'll see a USL record for national TV games and also see 450 games in ESPN Plus. It's cross-aligned in the waiting hands of Zendejas. Phoenix will be featured, but it's Vegas and San Antonio next on the ESPN game of the week. There's Phoenix St. Louis on the 30th of May. This will ricochet a couple times. Just away by Wazinski. I'll see you there for the game on Friday night, partner. Cashman Field, that should be exciting.
Count me in. Vegas. Vegas, baby. Can't say enough. Can't say much, but can't say enough.
It is something else. You think about it, the only loss for Swope Park is that 2-1 defeat to Las Vegas, and I have a feeling Vegas is going to do that to a handful of teams this year.
It's so difficult, and I can still see it ball coming back. Colton Storm trying to head the ball back and just right into his own net. Guys, we're not on the same page. I think that was Eric Dickengold, wasn't it?
The former Creighton player who's drafted by Sporting this year, yeah. It's an unlucky dude. Jason Johnson is standing by waiting to come on. Maybe he's a shot in the arm offensively in this one. Kevon Lambert hustling in there. Boy, it's a high arm swinging around from Rodrigo Saravia. He was drafted out of, what was it, Lob City, Dunk City?
Lob City. Dunk City, sorry, Dunk City.
Dunk
Florida
City.
Gulf Coast, Dunk City, yeah.
Yeah.
That 2016, right?
Yeah.
Solid Sweet 16 run for those guys.
That's enough for Gladson, Owako, and Jason Johnson comes on, and now there's 2 out-and-out strikers on the field for Phoenix. It is a substitution that's brought to you by Capriati's Sandwich Shop. Fanatically delicious subs. You could call them fantastically, and that's probably true as well.
Anything right now, I'm hungry. No cotton candy.
No frozen lemonade.
No frozen lemonades. We spoke to Jose Bosch, Crave Grounds partnership for the official donut of Phoenix Rising. These mini donuts, Jose told me they're amazing.
Rumor is a couple of the players and Jose
Yeah,
trotted over there. We're asking, like, are they really that good? And he's like, yeah, they are.
Thanks, buddy.
I think I saw some of them stuck in his beard during that halftime hit. I don't know. Here's Jason Johnson, fresh into the game. Johnson plays it. Asante cuts it across. Forbes scores. It's his first for Phoenix, and the Rising are on the board.
So just when you're about to wonder exactly where Johnson's going to play on the field, Owako comes off. Asante steps into the middle in the 10 roll. Johnson goes outside, plays the 1v1 dance. Asante steps in, says, guess what? It only takes 2 to tango. Finds Billy Forbes in the middle of the goal and just finishes on the far post. An excellent effort from all the boys in red. Great ball movement, solid finish, 1-0 Phoenix.
The native of Turks and Caicos on the board for the first time. 10 last year. Oh, it's all smiles now. We're talking about food, and the guy who doesn't eat on game day is the one who scores the goal while we're talking about these donuts.
Makes me even hungrier. how he does that, doesn't he, on game day?
Belmar, is there a quick response to be had? Wow, free kick, edge of the area. Multiple players were nearby. And enough contact for Rivas to blow the whistle.
You saw a look there at the assistant coach Blair Gavin, former player, pretty frustrated as well. You can see Carlton Belmar, something wrong, motioning to the sidelines. Good individual effort by him. Nice battle between he and Jason Johnson. And the foul is actually going to get called on the tug by Jason Johnson all the way back where head referee Victor Rivas is standing, not from Lambert on his challenge right at the top of the box.
And you motioned immediately that Lambert's on a yellow card, I think.
Yeah.
Well, this is concerning. Carlton Belmar, one of the really great stories of the USL, a former draft pick of Portland Timbers in 2015, second round pick. His dad, Frank, was in the Navy. Guy who went to Virginia Commonwealth, and a guy who really plays with a tremendous chip on his shoulder. Guy I got to talk to ahead of the USL Cup final last year, and really commands the room, a great presence, and I hope this is nothing too significant for him. The current leader in the USL in goals scored with 5. Doesn't look good.
You hate to see any player go down in any situation. Obviously, super frustration being showed by Carlton Belmar.
Well, there's still soccer to be played here, and this ball is fairly far outside the 18. There's a little more room here than it looked initially when the foul was called. You mentioned the tug.
That angle gives you an idea exactly what the players are looking at. Hussein creeping in here a little bit. I'd like to see someone have a go on goal. I'm not sure Fernandez can get enough behind it from this distance. The way that he's lined up, Hussein's got much more of a direct angle. The way the troops are lined up, it looked like they might have a little swerving ball sent in.
Hernandez will go for goal. It ricochets, saved Wazinski.
I'll eat my own words there. Got a little help from the deflection, a lot of help from the deflection, but solid save by Waz.
Corner on the way. It's in! Oh, wow, it's Belmar. He's back on the field and he scores. Wow, 1-1.
And everybody here, including you and I, are stunned. Head coach Nagamura had someone on the sideline coming to the center mark for a substitution. Didn't even see Belmar get waved back onto the pitch. And just a floater to the back post, slight deflection. Gonna see the in-swinging ball. There's the change being ready to be made. Waz comes over, misses the punch, hits Belmar right in the chest.
Well, it's Hernandez who comes out. Minter will come on. Hernandez has been playing on a yellow card since the 25th minute. Minter has played on the #1 team in the Western Conference 2 straight years. It's a substitution that's brought to you by Capriati's Sandwich Shop. Fanatically delicious subs. Well, back to square one. Belmar in the 70th minute, Forbes in the 66th. For Belmar, goal number 21 with Swope Park over 1+ year. It's his league-leading 6th of the season. And boy, you and I A lot of concern there for him a moment ago. Looked like he was on his way out.
Everybody in the stadium thought he was on his way out.
Yeah.
And we hadn't even seen him being waved back onto the pitch. It's almost agony, despair as he was walking off a second ago. Just creeps back on, finds himself at the back post, and the benefactor of a mistimed punch by Karl Wazinski. As he stepped out, Was done such a good job. First 5 games, which is a little bit of miscommunication there. Also difficult as he's drifting back, coming across his body, punching with the right. Gonna find the defender sitting on the post, holding that position that he's supposed to, but still, you can't make a mistake like that.
Kept in play by Johnson. Return ball, he turns on the Jets. Johnson cutting it for Lambert. Corner for Phoenix. This game has taken a noticeably uptick, energetic turn.
Jason Johnson has been the catalyst and spark for that on the right-hand side. See the footwork, speed, all of it coming into play here in the opening moments of his shift.
Throw here for Phoenix. Collision and a foul. Hey, Phoenix Rising fans, you can win 4 Phoenix Rising tickets just by watching Phoenix on Your View Arizona. All you have to do, listen for the keyword, enter it on social media, and you can win. Plus, all winners entered to win the grand prize, an all-expenses paid trip, get this, to watch the Las Vegas Lights away on October 10th. Tonight's keyword is defense. I want to enter.
I'm in.
Asante swings into the area, header back across. Wasn't able to steer that towards the frame because the back post was pretty lonely. Ball for Forbes, comes down. Asante. Minter bounced out of the way. Forbes pursuing, Storm with him. Kept in, Storm a second time. Now for a throw.
Jason Johnson has been able to stretch the game and push the envelope in so many different areas, but if there's one spot that you would like to see him work his game on, it's definitely his air game. He's got great leaping ability, but a lot of times we've seen him have a misdirection of a shot there with his head. Ball comes across, it's just 5, 6, 7 yards left of the outside post. He's got to be able to put those on frame.
It's away from Haji Berry. Ravia put that into an offside position. One thing that it was interesting hearing from Patrice Carteron this week about that loss in the postseason is he felt like Phoenix really grew of age in that playoff game. It's only 120 minutes, but by the time it's done, you've gotten your feet wet in the postseason. That was their goal when he arrived. Make it into the postseason. They almost had a home game. We're level on points with Swope Park by the time it's all said and done, but disappointment giving way to expectations of even better 2018.
Both teams have come out red hot. We've seen a lot of different looks from Phoenix Rising. Coming out 100 miles an hour, hair blazing in the wind versus Orange County, and then settling down, end up tying 1-1.
Belmar spinning in, Wazinski will collect.
The week after, dealing with OKC Energy, and that's the hat trick from Chris Cortez. Solomon Asante stepping in again. The 4-1 victory there. As they continue down, one after another.
Asante. Asante tripped up, free kick. This is against Kuzain. And it's a yellow card.
Cards starting to rack up for both squads here. And Solomon Asante, that's what he gives you. Stop on a dime, turn, go the other way. Graham Smith had the good angle on him if he was out in open space, but this is what you want from Phoenix. Another dead ball situation. Again, take your time. give yourself an opportunity. From this distance, you can certainly expect to see someone put something on frame for sure. Now it's up to which troop is going to step up and have a go. See Cortez in that left foot of his, wanting to bend something near post. James Musa trying to get in on the act, getting pushed off, but from the looks of it, Solomon Asante might be a little bit of a decoy here. It's a difficult angle for Chris Cortez to hit something, but most likely put it on the right footer.
Well, it's a big wall for Swope Park, and it's covering up all the vital places.
With the little stutter step you just see here, Chris Cortez is going to hit this with his left foot.
There's the stutter. Chris Cortez off the wall. Sends it aside. Dia crossing. Shot is spinning wide. That took a hop off a Swope Park player. Corner on the way. Well, you wonder what Billy Forbes is arguing about. Was there a potential?
Yeah, Billy Forbes is arguing that one off someone's hand. And again, Jason Johnson with the ball on his right foot. It's really difficult to see from that angle.
Service lifted. Falls out. Dia. Turning shot, Johnson, and Zendeja slides down to make the grab.
To be honest, I don't know if I've seen Jason Johnson use his right foot 5 times in general, let alone 5 times in one match.
Blackwood couldn't keep it. Johnson with a left-footed pass.
Good job by JJ.
And now up the line, the game is stretched out a bit. Forbes knocked away.
That's one of the scouting reports that you can kind of write home and figure it out quite rapidly. Billy Forbes going to put it on his left peg and push the pace on the left side, and Colton Storm just sticking his foot out, doing a good job defending. And I tell you, in the 79th minute of this match, things starting to slow down a little bit for Chris Cortez. I'd be shocked if Patrice Carteron didn't make one more change here, especially with the speedy Kevon Frater sitting on your bench.
Zane Belmar, the goal scorer for Swope Park in the 70th. Serves a good ball. Knotted out. Minter. As far as Kuzain. If you want to get exclusive video content and photography from across the USL, got to follow the league's official Instagram account. Follow along at USL Soccer. Cortez. Well, look into his crystal ball. Here comes Kevon Frater, and there goes Chris Cortez.
Come closer, children.
You can cash that ticket in now, Chief. Amadou Dia gets the captain's armband. This is a substitution that's brought to you by Capriati's Sandwich Shop. Fanatically delicious subs.
Good job by Chris Cortez holding up play up top tonight. Unfortunately, just not the dimension that they were able to look to on a regular basis. Patrice happy with his man and the shift that he put in, but a little bit more pace to break down this back line.
Oh, this is a dangerous bouncing ball. Comes to Billy Forbes. Oh, it hopped up on his hand, and he felt like that was really not a handball, given the way it got up there and where his hand was.
It's difficult in challenges like that because you're stepping in and things are already flailing and moving about. He won the challenge. Also gives you a very, very unfair advantage coming against the defense going the other direction.
Elmar. Woo! Jason Johnson. Oh, he could serve it too. Forbes. Forbes launching. Well, whether he was trying to lob the goalkeeper or find Kevon Frater, he split the baby. Forbes scoring in the 66th minute. Carlton Belmar responding in the 70th. In the 83rd minute, Phoenix and Swope Park are level. That's where this ended in the playoff matchup in late October. Went to penalties, and Swope Park evaded Phoenix. Ended up hosting 3 home games, including a lengthy shootout against OKC Energy. Here's Zendejas, who scored the winning penalty in that game and then sprinted to the stands, not to celebrate with the fans, he said later, because he didn't want to get dogpiled. Now that's presence of mind. But Swope has reached the final in back-to-back years. A result here at home for Phoenix, and they're feeling really good. Zendejas kept that in with his feet. Like a matador stepping aside. Well, Phoenix, the team in red here. Storm.
No stoppages. Well, a few this half.
Swope, one of the best teams in the league right from the outset last year, playing the majority of their games on the road in the first half of the year. And over their last half of the season, the final 17 games, homestands of 5 games, 3 games, and 2 games. Finish at home too. Well, a nice touch for a Swope Park team. It's hoping to recreate the same magic and find a different result. Saravia. Lambert was in pursuit. Minter. Touch through for Storm. Storm trying to get there again. James Musa set to come out. Fernandez will come on. It's a substitution that's brought to you by Capriati's Sandwich Shop. Fanatically delicious subs.
Pretty decent debut for James Musa here tonight versus Old Club. See him applauding the fans and a good shift that he put in. Again, his match fitness for him to step onto the pitch and put in 86 minutes. His first appearance. It's a good job out of him. You can see nice long lean. Make sure they keep him healthy. You'll see a lot of him game in and game out.
Well, it's over 6,000 again here at Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex, and what is officially a sellout, I should say. The 18th sellout at the stadium since it came online last year. $6,310. A lot of those fans will congregate the plaza on either side. Have a nice, refreshing drink.
Frozen lemonade.
That's right. Stole it right out of my mouth, Chief. Avia is down.
See if we can get a conversation with Kevon Lambert. Have Jose Bosch have a little talking to and see who his new barber is. He's gone away from the Jackson 5 fro. The looks of it, he's gone to cornrows.
He's gone back to the old hairstylist, I guess.
Yeah. And a friend of mine growing up who used to wear Princess Leia buttons.
Fernandez stabbed away from Forbes. We missed out on what would have been a great highlight. What a lead-in.
He would wear Princess Leia buns. And then they were dyed blonde. And about halfway through it, he decided to pick out one side. So he had a fro with one half of his hair, and the other half was Princess Leia bun.
Minter.
Interesting, to say the least. It's fun marketing, too.
There's that business in the front, Leia in the back.
Something.
Belmar finding his way through. Belmar scores. It's his second for Swope. Have they stolen 3 points on the road?
Well, that's why he's there. You saw him go down early on in the second half. Got up very, very gingerly, made himself to the back post. Somehow became the benefactor of a poor decision by Waz. Gets his first goal, and on the second one, everybody in the stadium is lulled to sleep. And just look at the pace. Those long strides, gazelle-like, just phenomenal movement down the field. And his speed is able to split the center of the fence for Phoenix Rising. And they are up 2-1 with just moments to go in this match.
Goal number 7 on the year. Goal number 22, the Swope Park Rangers. Lest we forget, he scored 12 in his Rookie of the Year season in 2015. A yellow card for showing off. It's a little disappointing for him, showing off the GPS device that he's wearing. Taking the jersey off. Well, there's still time here for Phoenix, and Johnson thought he kept that in.
Now you see the time wasting from Parker Marr. Nagamura are probably going to make another change here and let those seconds tick off the clock. Jockey for position.
Lambert is this carom wide off of Dia. Forbes cutting, shot in! Asante! 2-2! Well, this final half an hour, it's been incredible. Back and forth it goes, level again.
And that's exactly the response that you want in situations like this. Billy Forbes pulls it back, little touch off, and Solomon Asante with an absolute bullet to the bottom corner, able to pull his boys back into this. It's not over yet.
Camilo Benitez. It's a substitution brought to you by Capriati's Sandwich Shop, fanatically delicious subs. Blackwood comes off. He never quite had that impact in his return to the desert. Well, now we're looking to see if there's a late winner to be had. Players down for Swope Park. It's Parker Marr. He's back to his feet now. Referee's going to go over, make sure all is well. 5 minutes of added time. Smoke billowing out. The supporters, both sides have to feel, given the way the momentum is swung back and forth, that they have a chance to come away with points rather than just settling for one. That should be a second yellow to Kevon Lambert, and he'll be sent off. A red card to Kevon Lambert in the 92nd minute. He picked up a yellow in the 8th.
And you can hear some of the Phoenix Rising fans voicing their displeasure. Unfortunately for them, this is the right decision for the yellow card. I 100% disagree with Victor Rivas and him giving Kevon Lambert a yellow card in the 8th minute of this match, because now with 4 minutes left to play, Phoenix Rising are gonna have to play down to 10 men. And that is just an unfair situation. There's no reason you pull a card 8 minutes in on the first foul of the game for him.
Mar and Johnson exchanging pleasantries. What kind of recipe is that?
Jason Johnson letting him know about the oxtail stew that they get going down there for the Reggae Boys in Jamaica. I actually know the recipe quite well. It's delicious.
Square ball. Didic stepping in. Avia. Barry. Belmar. Does he have a third in him? Belmar attacking DuBose. Corner. This is where Belmar scored his first in the 60s, make it the 70th. Lighting the fuse on a match that was a little bit slow at the outset.
That's a battle won by Devontae DuBose, though. Got beaten, was able to shift himself back, used his pace, got back into the challenge. Well done.
Service is long. Comes near Kuzain. Frater didn't get a touch. Kuzain at the touchline. Serves, headed wide of the post. Saravia, the captain, is leaning into that. Phoenix down to 10 men for the last minute and a half. These fans don't really care. Like to see Phoenix push forward down the stretch.
You can see the Banditos and the Fury lighting their red flares. Saw a couple social media posts floating around before the game, all red everything, they said. You can see the red vengeance in their eyes, the closing moments of this game, trying to hold on.
Saravia. Strong slide. Dia claps on. 20th overall pick in the 2015 draft. There are 3 first-rounders for Sporting Kansas City on this field. 1 plays for Phoenix, a pair for Swope Park. Mar. Smith. Dia. That's a foul. Goes against one of those first-round picks, Colton Storm. Foul against Phoenix. A picture worth 1,000 words from Patrice Carteron.
You saw Patrice, you saw Blair, all them stepping in, and this is getting really vocal. Closing minutes of this game, Saravia, their captain. And you have to recognize Victor Rivas and his inability to call a consistent game here. I mean, he's put in a tough position every time he steps on the pitch to call a match. Been inconsistent at best, which has caused a lot of the frustration and outrage from the players, both physical and verbal.
Throw in from Belmar, seeking out Minter, cuts it in front. Minter again, Barry has it taken off his foot. Is there a chance to counter now for Phoenix in the final seconds? It's the speed of Johnson. Johnson run over, it's a foul. Or is it? It's just a throw. Is there one more chance in this one for either side? Forbes. Throw for Phoenix. Is there a long throw to be had? Letting it go to DuBose. Time of the essence here. Frater. Well, it's full time. They didn't take advantage of that final opportunity, but Phoenix gets a point right at the death. A 90th minute goal from Asante. It's his 4th goal of the year. And Devin, it's a massive one for Phoenix, who felt like they were in the driver's seat at the 66 mark.
The one thing that we haven't seen a lot of out of them in their first 5 games, you saw it here tonight, character. that showed great character and heart clawing back into this match. Some similar stats, which we're going to see in a minute, but at the end of this, 70% possession for Swope Park Rangers. You go down a goal, you end up going down a man, and you're still able to get back to 2-2 with 10 men. Good job.
2-2. We'll wrap it up after this.
If you just sign that first
I'm
one
so
there.
sorry. I don't feel comfortable signing that.
I don't get the math here.
Was this the same car we talked about?
What's this dealer preparation fee?
I'm so sorry. This just is not.
What we talked about.
Get the car without the car salesman. Carvana, the new way to buy a car.
Phoenix Rising FC y Didier Drogba están subiendo de intensidad en esta temporada con un equipo internacional más grande, con más velocidad y más fuerte que nunca. Únete a la acción en el complejo futbolístico Phoenix Rising en Scottsdale y experimenta las mayores emociones y habilidades del fútbol profesional.
Los siguientes en el campo. Phoenix Rising se enfrenta a Fresno FC. Sábado, abril 28 a las 7 p.m. Consigue tus boletos en phxracingfc.com.
Phoenix Rising FC. Nos elevamos unidos.
Good to the last drop here in Phoenix. It finishes 2-2. Forbes and Asante for Phoenix, and it was a one-man show for Swope Park Rangers. 70th and 88th minute. Carlton Belmar picking up a draw on the road. A look at our full-time highlights. Devin Kerr alongside Mike Watson. Well, the first half was maybe a little bit of a bore, so we'll take it to the second half. And Jason Johnson made a big impact in this game.
In the final 25-30 minutes that he put in, you weren't exactly sure what they were going to do tactically. Were they going to shift Billy Forbes over to the right, as he and Asante tend to do? Were they going to put Johnson on the left? They didn't. They put Johnson on the right, and as you said, Mike, stepped in right away. Good combination into Asante, over to Forbes, back to Asante, good finish.
And then Belmar injured a moment earlier, and in the 70th minute, Johnny on the spot.
We never even saw him step back onto the match, and you have to question Waz here. Frustrated by his defense, Lambert getting in the way a little bit, but still, you're a goalkeeper, you got to take responsibility, misses the punch, and it's 1-1.
Swope in their history had never come back from a 75th minute deficit, so there was level, and, well, 78, make it 88th minute. A chance for Belmar to break through. It's his second of the game, 7th of the year.
We hit that 5-10 minute lull. Interesting conversational pieces going back and forth, and Carlton Belmar, as we've seen him do so many times before, taking it up, throwing everybody on his back and giving them everything he has to offer, including the shirt off his back. 2-1, Phoenix said, you know what, we're down, we're not out. Good job, the combination of Forbes and Asante once again. Forbes kind of gets lost in translation a little bit. Clever little back heel, even better finish. Nice little laser to the bottom corner to beat Adrian Zendejas. And again, true heart and character by Phoenix Rising, crawling back in to notch it up at 2.
4 minutes between the first 2 goals, 2.5 minutes between the back 2 goals. Finishes 2-2. Here's the final stats. The shots and opportunities are about level. The possession for Swope Park was their calling card all night.
And I said, you know, don't play the possession game. Just sit back, bide your time, try and capitalize on your opportunities, and that's what Phoenix did. Unfortunately for them, had to play that final 5-6 minutes down to 10 men, a man down, question the decision-making of the referee, whatever you may have. Patrice Cardrone has got to be proud of his boys. Frustrated by the first half, better in the second, but nonetheless, you still get a point.
Swope looks ahead to Anthony Pulis' St. Louis FC next, and for Phoenix Rising, game 1 of a 3-game homestand. And next up, the Foxes, the expansion side out of Fresno, led by former Phoenix coach Frank Yallop as their general manager.
And Frank Yallop stepping out and going over to take over that Fresno FC side. Again, we talked about Fresno and their ability to move the ball. Unfortunately, some of the results just not really taking pace yet, but I think they got something special brewing out there.
Well, it's autograph time in front of the supporters, and they got their money's worth here tonight. Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex, as it finishes 2 goals apiece for Jose Bosch, Devin Kerr, our entire team led by Scott Ferguson, Roberto Fernandez, Manny Simone. Good folks in Scottsdale, Arizona. Mike Watts saying so long tonight Phoenix gets ahead in the 66th. Belmar scores twice, but the Rising find the late answer. Asante's 4th of the year levels the match. It finishes 2-2. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.